Raise your horns high and let your spirit flow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show. Feel the rush, let the loudness grow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show.
You know how much they were going to charge me, Ruben, for a booth?
How much? I'm curious.
$75,000.
Oh, geez.
So that's how much money Gene figured I was going to make at that convention. So
Were you were going to sell barnyard jams there, huh?
Yeah, Speed Barn Jams,
yeah, Speed
Deluxe
Barn
Edition.
Jams. Oops, sorry.
Yep.
Yeah.
For the first, I was actually going to debut the CD autograph singles of Ride the Serpent for $199 in person, and you could get a photo with that and me, and you could pick out what panties you wanted, whether you want the pink or the purple. I have pink and purple panties. So that was all thwarted because of Gene and Mean Mr. Mustard and these pop house people and Doc McGee and his slithering snakes.
Yeah.
It was horrible. It was a horrible thing. And I looked at him and I said, why do you hate Speed Barn Jam so much?
Right. Oh, that's awful.
They just do everything they can to thwart my releases and my art.
Right.
And so it's just, this is what I'm battling. So when you say, why? When Eddie Trunk says, why would you charge $200 for a song? It's to pay the legal bills because of Simmons. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Stanley Eisen. He's got a team of lawyers. They come after me left and right. Oh. And then he said, I got this message on my voicemail, and he didn't say it was Paul, but he said, don't send any plane tickets to Evan, you piece of shit. Click. And I was like, wow, they can't even have the kids come jam with me in the barn. And that was sad because I did have a couple of emails with Evan Stanley, and he seemed real sweet. He said, I always liked Lick It Up. It was one of my favorite albums. So, yeah.
Nice.
But that might be why his dad's so mad. You know, I mean, when his son realizes who really invigorated the Kiss rocket ship, and it was the Vinnie Vincent fuel that burned the fire. So
right.
Yeah.
So all this stuff's definitely coming. You got the Speed Barn Jams Deluxe Edition. You got the singles, the $200.
So yeah, let's clarify that. You're going to put $200 into my account, and I'm going to hold it there. And then when we get to a certain number of sales, so I can order the whole lot that I need, then I will ship out everyone's CDs and autograph them and make everything right. And if we don't reach the proper number of sales, then the money just gets refunded right back to you, and you didn't lose anything. So it's kind of like a placeholder. You're holding your place in line to have. You used to go wait in line outside of a record store when an album was dropped, right? So this is just kind of like a digital line. You're putting your money down to hold your spot. And I'm offering a lot of bonuses that they're not even mentioning. Again, the guitar picks and the panties and all of these other things. So, I mean, if Gene Simmons can give you a vault full of glow-in-the-dark condoms and shitty songs you never heard, then for thousands and thousands of dollars, I just don't understand why $200 is too much for people.
Sure.
So, but I'll tell you why, Ruben. Let's be honest. Because Eddie Trunk wants a freebie. He wants a freebie. He wanted me to send him the whole album for free.
Right.
And I said, well, what do I get out of that? You're not having me on the show. You get a free album. Right. You're driving around Las Vegas with your dick in your hand with your lubricant on the other hand, listening to Ride the Serpent and jerking off to my song. So what does Vicky get out of that? I'm over here in the barn alone with no one to pay the power bill. So that's why Eddie Trunk is the way he is, because he wants a free Vicky Vincent album. He doesn't want to pay for it. So
and then he'll be horrible listening to it in that in a car with that guy from Counting Cars and that guy from the Bistro and Carrot Top and
then how long is it before one of them uploads Ride the Serpent? And now it's on YouTube, and I'm not making my money because Eddie Trunk. There you go.
Yeah, so get it.
But he's going to I'll have the last laugh because what he doesn't know is I've, $75,000 and have a booth at the Landlocked next year, or, maybe for $575,000, I just booked myself at the Sphere, and it's Vicky Vincent at the Sphere.
The Vicky Vincent experience, huh?
Yep. Speed Barn Jams Live Deluxe Edition in front of your eyes.
Wow.
So yeah, and the Sphere with me on all the walls in pink. I mean, imagine what this could look like, Ruben. This could be this could be cool. And then when Eddie Trunk emails me and says, "Can I get my comp ticket to come see you at the Sphere?" I'll say, "Fuck you, Eddie Trunk."
Well, there you go.
So yeah,
Okay.
so we'll see. We'll find out. But I'm
We'll
looking
find.
into it because if I get enough buyers of the full album at $3,600, it won't take very long for me to get the $575,000 to book myself and hold the Sphere.
Yeah.
So there you
True.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
So the numbers. See, they think the numbers are just I'm on a calculator working the numbers with my management team here in the barn, and we're coming up with the ways that we can make Vicky Vincent, launch into the new era. That's what we're entering, the new era, the caviar and art area. The areas where you want to lay down
Mm-hmm.
and relax and feel soothing and listening to me shredding these guitar riffs over your ears, and it's just tickling your senses and making you feel good. That's what Vicky's here for.
Well, there you go.
So that's what
Okay.
Paul Stanley never understood, Ruben.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
He was too busy jerking Bill a coin off and, you know,
Ooh.
worried
Yeah.
about his hair. That's what he was worried about. See, I already told you guys I've always worn a wig because I don't have very good follicles. Paul Stanley lied to you guys, and he's balder than bald. So
Mm-hmm.
there you go. Yeah.
Sure. Well,
Well, thank you for
nice.
having me, Ruben. I want to
Yeah.
thank Evil for letting me come set the record straight. And people hadn't known what I've been doing the last 6 months, but all this art's going to come flowing out of Vicky Vincent onto your
Nice.
audio streams wherever they are. And let's just all hold hands and get around the barn, because the barn is the
The
communal
barn.
place where
Yeah.
we get. Yes. If I'm telling you right now, when this all gets dropped next year, well, this year now, 2026, by the end of the year, come back to me in December, Ruben, because you're going to come back and you're going to say Speed Barn Jams Deluxe
Jams.
Edition was the album of the year.
Oh, okay.
Album of the year. Yeah,
Well, we'll
that's how
definitely
much you're
have
going to
you
like it.
back. I'm sure. I'm sure we may have you you know, come back before the too long, maybe midway into the year and see how things are going.
Yeah, I'm there might be a couple of select summer showcases for
Mm.
Vicky in the barn. So yes, I might have to get a hold of Evil when I have the
Yeah.
confirmed dates for that. And obviously, if sales reach the right numbers, you might have me coming on here to tell Eddie Trunk, "Fuck you, I will be at the Sphere, buddy." What do you think about that?
Yeah. That'd be
Where's
great.
Gene Simmons now? I'm on stage at the Sphere playing Cock Teaser. What do you think about that?
There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
See if Eddie Trunk wants to ride my serpent. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah. Right. All right. Well,
all
good
right. Well, thank you for having me,
chatting with you
Ruben.
again.
Yes, God
Yeah.
bless the wrap up show and Evil and everything you
Ooh.
guys are doing. Don't let that Ghoulie Wendell ruin everything, because that guy's a questionable person, just like the rest of these
Yeah.
monsters. So,
Well,
yeah.
before I let you go, I mean,
Hmm.
Taylor is um full figured, right? And she does
Hmm.
use filters, right?
Hmm. Yes,
Would you agree?
that's what Evil's shown me. Yes,
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, just making
he's
sure.
yeah
I was
no
just going to
yeah
say from a
he.
woman's perspective, right?
Oh no, I looked right at the pictures and said, yeah, she's 100% using filters. She's lying about her weight,
Yeah,
and she probably, I'm gonna say, like, Nordstrom's is the lowest store she's going to go to. So she's got high end taste. So that if Wendell thinks he's going to stick with that, he better open up the pocketbooks pretty. If he thinks that $290 is too much for a song, he's going to be pretty surprised what
right.
Taylor would charge him for a good time late at night in a hotel room. So
And you're familiar with Shelly Rocks as well, right? The other jackal
yes,
from the CMS. Yeah,
yes. One evening, Evil was at my place working on some gear, and he said, "You need to see this." He kind of showed me the show, the classic metal show, and I gotta say that those two guys are pretty hard on my eyes. They kind of ruined my sight a little bit, seeing
yeah,
these two
right,
ugly, hideous gentlemen on the screen. But then he
right,
showed me the chat room, and I thought,
right,
I'm, as a they them, as someone in
mm-hmm.
transition, I can assure you that there's no women in the room. These are
Oh
women.
yeah,
These are
yeah.
these are lady
It,
boys like me. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that Shelley Rocks on a scale of 1 to 10 in the barnyard, what number would you give her?
She's a good 7 or 8 in the pig department, but she probably
Okay.
has an 8-inch horse cock in her pants. So, because I don't think she's a chick, I think she's a dude. So I think she's fooling all those guys. I think she's in there, getting
Right.
the attention of the boys she wants.
Yeah.
If those guys ended up in a jail cell with her, they'd probably find out pretty quick that she's you know,
She-
she's a man.
she's a man. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, great.
So sorry to
Yeah.
ruin your ruse there,
Oh no, it
Shelly
did.
Rocks, but
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. Right.
It's
All right.
okay, Shelly. You can join the club.
Yeah.
I'm the leader of
There
the
you go.
club. You
It's
know.
true. Yeah.
Yeah. So
All right.
maybe I'll fly over to Switzerland and join her barn sometime.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go. Why not?
All right.
Okay.
Well, there
Well,
you go.
thanks.
So thank
Thanks
you,
for
Wrap Up
dropping by.
Show. Yes, you've always entertaining and always fun. And I just go out and get Ride the Serpent or Cock Teaser or Balls on Fire is another one that I have
Yeah.
coming out. So get ready. They're all your genitals will be on fire when you hear my new music. That's for sure.
All right.
All right.
Well,
Thank you, Ruben.
thanks. Yeah, no
Bye,
problem.
Wrap Up Show.
We'll see you.
Wrap Up Show related.
Ah, there we go. Well,
So thank you to Vicky Vincent for coming on the show and setting the record straight. She's been in my ear for a few weeks around the holidays about getting on here to have a venue for a fair debate about what she's up to. So hopefully you guys will go out there and pick up Ride the Serpent or Speed Barn Jams if you want the deluxe edition.
right. Right.
You could also get Classic Metal Wrap Up Show has our own shirts now
Oh, look at
available,
that.
ladies and gentlemen. So if you want, there's go to our Facebook page. There is a Cash App, and we're going to create a PayPal and some ways you guys can. Right now, the Cash App's the easiest way. We'll get you a shirt for $25 to your front door with the Wrap Up Show logo. If you want, we're going to make a few other different logos and put them out there for you. So that's number one. Number 2 or 3 or wherever we're at here. Let's get into this for real quick before we call it a day on
Right.
the Wrap Up Show. There has been some CMS news that, quite frankly, has kind of gone over during the holiday break, I think, and that is that Aiken is no longer working with Mr. Ferentinos.
Right.
And the cap is over as we know it. It's been transformed back into the vision I think he had for cap prior to Ferentinos. So
That's weird. Yeah.
yeah, the claim was that he was going to be too busy to
Mhm.
do Ferentinos' stuff, but then he turned right around and launched a whole new show with Seth, with One-Legged Seth,
Right. Yeah.
the burn victim show, or
Yeah.
I don't know, the trauma inducing show.
Because
So
they're really credentialed to talk about that.
and so I mean I'm not in any way disparaging people that have had traumatic events happen in their life and have overcome obstacles.
Right.
But the idea that there's enough of them out there with such
Mhm.
traumatic major trauma that they have to have a podcast to hit up every week to log into. I can't imagine that's even more niche than who we're trying to broadcast
Right.
to. I don't know.
Right.
It's a very small demographic of people.
Yeah.
But hey, if that helps them, I'm not against it. I'm just saying I'm never tuning in. The logo was weird. I don't need to see a leg
Yeah.
in flames or
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know what was going on. It's just weird. And he kind of went right back to doing his short news clips, his
Mhm.
commentary
AI
about TV
shit.
shows and AI. Yeah. And so it's like you had all this time to do all that, but you don't have time for 2 hours of talking to Eric once a week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. I think that there's more to this story than he's acknowledging. And evidence of that was in the clip that someone did send us. I think it was Andrew, where Ferentinos, he basically sounded like he was not happy. Like it wasn't amicable. It wasn't okay. It didn't end on good terms. So that was a little bit weird too. And now Eric, in my opinion, has gone headfirst into all characters all the time. Right? I mean,
That
he's
is
got
awful.
Fright Bite going with the Dahlia Dark, and I tried to watch a little bit of that. It just wasn't funny.
I guess I should take it back. I'd rather watch the Guru than that because I've never watched any of the Cap
Okay. Let's
yeah.
be straight. Let's
Yeah.
be straight. You said you put a gun to Evil's head. You said you have to listen to 2
Oh,
hours
yeah.
of Dahlia
I'd listen
Dark
to the two.
and
Yeah, 2
or-
hours of
or you get-
Guru.
or for me, it's 2 hours of Billy Corgan and Paul Stanley. I'm taking
Okay.
Billy Corgan and Paul Stanley. I am because
Yeah,
there is Dahlia doesn't really find Eric to be that funny. So what's his name when he's Count
Cracula.
Cracula, Count Cracula.
Yeah. I mean, it's just
So she's not really laughing at Count Cracula, and then he's doing two characters,
right.
playing both, doing jokes off of himself.
Yeah. And you wonder
I
why
don't
his
know, man.
woman left him. I mean, Jesus.
I would say, is this a midlife crisis? He's lost the set band largely. He's
Yeah.
lost the woman. He's lost Aiken in his podcast and having to wing it on his own.
Yeah.
Now, I'll be honest, it doesn't look like his views changed much with or without Aiken. Same
Mm-mm.
numbers kind of looked on the videos, so I guess he's not going to lose any income that way if he
No.
has income coming from the views.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the deal is there, but I don't have any beef with Eric. I actually think
Oh no.
at times when he was Stoic Steve, he actually did make me laugh. The character was so stupid and absurd. The guy having no emotions made me laugh. I don't know why. The other ones I just never quite caught on to, and the subjects, the making Aiken eat the candy and all that stuff. I just never, it just, that's, I liked hearing about him on the road with Sepp or his
Mm-hmm.
musical endeavors, honestly, even if they're like The Project or something else is more interesting to me than, but him doing the characters constantly, I guess that's where he wanted to go as full-time, theater mode. And maybe Aiken was like, I'm not doing that. But
Well,
I guess what I'm saying is, for me, it's more of why would Aiken not just say that? Why would not Aiken
mm-hmm.
just say, I didn't agree with the artistic direction of the way that Eric's taking his show, and so I chose to go do my own thing. We're still friends, all good, just not going to be on the show anymore. He's doing his own thing. It's, again, I think there's something about Aiken that kind of makes me feel like he's deceptive
Yeah,
and
there's
tries to
something
cover
weird
it.
there. I mean, it's almost like he made things worse. He should have just been upfront with him, going, nah, "I'm not about this. Let's just part ways." They could still be buddies, but now it's like he did it in a roundabout way and basically, gave the fuck you to Eric, and now he's pissed
Yeah,
and made
he
things
is.
worse.
He
So now he
basically
doesn't have a
made,
friend, or
yeah, he
was he ever a
basically
friend? You know what I mean?
kind of made me wonder if, like with the Braverman situation, if this was just an opportunity that Aiken saw to try to make more bucks. When the big bucks didn't come in, then he cut off the fucking relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Seems to be that Aiken, for business purposes, is
Mm-hmm.
venturing out all the time, trying to find a way to scrape a few more shekels together, so to speak.
Right.
So, but now
Yeah.
we know, ladies and gentlemen, he's out doing a Crunch podcast, and he's going to be the mascot, I think, part time, and help the
The
Crunch with
mascot. Is he going to be the fucking mascot? I mean, I don't know. Maybe he is
I
going
just
to be
made that
doing
up
that.
because I couldn't figure
I
out what
don't know.
other job other than
I
the
mean,
podcast. I couldn't figure out what other relation to soccer would he have at his
right.
size, with his lack of health. And he just doesn't look like the kind of guy who knows a lot about soccer, or I don't know shit about it. So I wouldn't know the positions or the guys or the names or what they
Right.
do or the rules. So I was just, when my mind, when I was trying to think of what, if you're the guy that owns the soccer club and Hicken comes to you and says, I need a job, would you give him? I'd put him in the mascot outfit and dance around out there, fat boy. It's either that or he's serving hot dogs. I mean, there's only two gigs, and he probably eat more hot dogs than he'd serve. So at least in the mascot, he has to work for it. Just dance around on the stairs and, halftime or whatever they have in a soccer match. He's got to entertain some people and earn his keep, so to speak. So somehow not enough time for Eric and the traditional cap, more than enough time to launch more time on a Seth show, more than enough time to launch more clips and bits and AI nonsense. And I'm still going to be dedicating my Saturday nights to Wendell and talking for 6 hours of his fucking.
Well, I found the clip
Oh, here it is.
where
There we go.
Eric
Yes.
kind of hints to us
Yes.
that something's
For
not
those
right.
of you, because
But
yes,
hold
because
on.
some of them are
I
going
got
to say that we're making that up. That's not true. So we
but
have the evidence.
I might have not have shared it with sound. Okay, I do have it sharing with sound. So there we go.
Okay.
We'll try again.
All right. Let's see it.
We got to make sure that we get this because it's queued up to that spot.
To the part, yeah.
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 All right. So here we go.
No.
Make sure.
Eric's opinion of Mr. Aiken and what's going on here.
There we go. There we are.
The medical episode was monetized by Waste Some Time instead of asking how much Eric's bills are. Yeah, I mean, he's done, he's also another person who had everything paid for but did a bunch of fundraisers, which I think.
So he's taking a swipe at a green bomb.
Green bomb. Yes.
Here's the other thing.
Revelation.
Since I don't know, I don't know if you so much. I know you watch some. Andrew's totally was into watching the great Jason Green on the road. So I last Saturday night, I think is where I watched, like, I don't know, I just put it on YouTube and it just kept on cycling through. I saw so many of them, probably a good four or five back to back.
Yeah.
That fucking Green Bomb, he never features Eric. I think he did it one, it just very short, just in passing. Like he totally goes out of his way to not share any footage of Eric, and it's like, I mean, you can kind of put two and two together and go, yeah, he doesn't like him too much.
Yeah,
So,
and
and
Eric's
then
definitely
he
going to
gets into
explain
this.
some. Yeah, and we should say here on that note, real quick, is that it's very clear that what Eric's saying here, I believe, is true, and that because he's been in Sep's camp longer than
Yeah,
Greenbaum, there's a
right,
rub there.
right.
And also proof of that is on a more recent episode. I'm just saying, in the
Hmm.
last 2 or 3 weeks, Green loaded some old their things he shot last year, but he's dropping them now.
Hmm.
Watch a couple of the more recent ones in the last couple weeks. There's one in there where he clearly says, "Yeah, we're done with this run with these guys. Now we got to go to the airport and drop off Eric and Johnny."
Oh,
Like
okay.
they're
Yeah,
like they're putting
yeah.
them out because he
Right,
has to get Warren and Carlos
right,
to go to go
right,
do the, and he
right.
like Taylor Green does not want to be dealing with Eric and Johnny and getting them where they got to go. He just wants to throw them on the fucking side of the road, get Warren and Carlos in here ASAP. You could just tell by the way he said it. It was like with disdain that we got to go do this.
Right.
So I 100% believe, and I agree with you. I always wondered. I was like, we get a lot of Monaco, we get a lot of
Yeah,
Matt Thorne, we get
right.
Matt Thorne's wife, we get
And
whatever.
Bloss,
Yeah, whatever
even Jimmy
drummers in the lineup.
DeAnda. I mean,
Yeah, whatever drummer, you get some of that. You get the roadie kid who's helping out with the drum teching and all that.
oh,
You get
that,
Michelle.
yeah,
Sam, I
yeah.
think is the guy's name.
Sam,
Sam, the
I've
roadie that
met him,
does.
and
Yeah,
he's actually a
yeah,
cool kid.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You get all that, but you, only once in a blue moon when they're all at a dinner together, then you'll
Right.
see Eric at the table because Eric
Yeah,
has to be because he's with
yeah.
everybody eating. There was
And
one
he
episode
always
where they
makes a
got
point of moving the camera so you just
yeah.
see fucking Eric's
Don't
elbow or something.
yeah, or the
Oh,
side of his face or something. Yeah.
yeah,
And
right.
he there was one episode where he was kind of forced into having Eric a part of it because they had gotten out of their hotel rooms and their new hotel rooms weren't ready. So they were all kind of hanging in one hotel room waiting for their
Right.
rooms. And Eric was in there, and you could tell Greenbaum was like, it was just a weird
Right.
not a silence, just an
Right.
uncomfortable
Like
friction in
tension,
this whole
right? Yeah.
environment. Yes,
Oh,
tension
that
going
must
on.
be so
So
awful. You're in a
and
Sprinter van and you're sitting next to Green Bomb and you're like wanting to sock him. Oh,
And
all right.
okay, and so what I'm gonna say is on that note, real quick before you hit play. So let that be a little seed there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not picking sides. I'm just saying that I think Eric has opinions of Greenbaum that Blotzer would agree with, and Blotzer probably
Right.
has opinions of Greenbaum that Eric would agree with because they've been around him a long time for a while now, people. So listen to what Eric says here.
Well, I'm just saying, it did cross my mind. What if at one point Blotzer relaunches some kind of project where he plays the music of Rat and he swipes Monaco in there?
Well, and then what I'm trying to say is because I did comb through the Guru with Robbie Crane on those parts, it's
Hmm.
very clear Robbie Crane has a little bit of a rub with Warren and the way he
Hmm.
was
Oh
treated
yeah,
about infestation in his writing credits and the way that they handled that. So that's why he exited, and he said he's never going to go back. But he made it real clear he talks to Blotzer all the time. He
hmm.
and Blotzer are cool. So
Can you imagine?
would
I
it
mean,
could you
Blotzer could get him.
Blotzer Blotzer could grab Crane on bass, Ferentinos on guitar. All he needs is one more guitar player and Jizzo or someone at the fucking front again, and or
Yeah,
that kid he had at the last
sure.
Blotzer's
Yeah,
Allen or whatever his name was,
yeah, yeah,
Josh
yeah, yeah.
Allen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Josh
get that
Allen.
kid, and now you got as much rat going on here as the other rat, right? I mean,
Hmm.
so I don't know, in my opinion. So
Right.
yeah.
All right. Let's watch the rest of this.
Is terrible. Um, but yeah, that whole incident, the behind the scenes on that, I was having a heart attack, and they were made aware of it. And one of Jay's favorite things to say is how, oh, he told Steven, but he didn't care about you. They just continued to sell their merch was more important than knowing who.
I mean, when he says that, couldn't you envision hearing that in Green's voice. I mean, he almost says it just like Green would say it. So it's got to be true.
Yes, and this is what Blotzer was saying when he uses the term "not flying straight." That's what he's talking about.
Right.
Greenbaum's more worried about fucking turning over a buck on every motherfucker than the actual operation, the people involved, what's going on here. And yeah, no, I think Green looks at Ferentinos and even Blotzer at one point in time as an obstacle to get around to trying to get what he wants, which is the higher guys in Rat to make the bucks to milk off them. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, that's what I think. I think Jason Green, you're probably, hey, you're a fucking New York City used car salesman leeching off these motherfuckers. That's just what I think. Because you organize their flights. How hard is that? Anyone could do that on a fucking app on their phone. You organize their travel. That's an email away. That's not very hard. You figure out how to get someone to pay them. Oh, I can do that. You walk backstage and say, where's fucking Steven's check? It's not hard, bro. You act like it's some mystery to manage a band. What you're doing is something that, there, as we know in the music industry, there's hundreds of guys out there managing bands, dude. There's nothing you're doing special than anybody else. Anyways,
Yeah.
let's hear Ferentinos' hate for him.
Yeah. No shit.
Who was dying, whatever. He tries to make he really hates my relationship with Steven. He's very, very jealous of the 40-year 40-year relationship I have with Steven. He'll never have that. And so it bothers him.
Now, having said that, if he went on camera and did this versus the fucking characters, I'd watch this because this is real shit.
Yes.
He could tell
is
stories from the road and different stuff. This guy could actually interview some of his friends, musician friends, and that would be good. That would be fun.
Awesome.
That would be good to watch.
Hear musician to musician talking shit about what
Right.
they deal with.
Even if they
backstage.
just talked gear or whatever, you know what I mean?
100%. And let this be a vine to you, Eric, because we're not in good graces with those guys on the other CMS. So if
Yeah.
you need a place to come vent some of the shit that you think that smells funny
Right.
about these fucking characters, and you've never really had a forum to say it openly, well, now you can not only, and you can come on our show and you'll probably find some comrades over here who kind of feel the same way about these guys. But
Right.
and
Right.
and I agree. Let's just say this. I think Steven is truly Eric's friend in the regard that he's always worked with
sure.
Eric for a long, long time. He didn't have
Right.
to. He could have found him other guitar players and that work with Stephen Pearcy tomorrow. So that's what Greenbaum is not liking. And that's what Greenbaum's afraid of, because he knows that if Blotzer does show up, Blotzer's history with those guys is so deep that that's nothing that Greenbaum could really ever break. If that's what they really wanted Blotz back on the drums, Blotz would be back on the drums. And that's what he hates. He hates guys who have tenure, standing, and have their own. He kind of wants to. This is why he wanted to inject Monaco as soon as he got his chance. He's trying to push his guys into the spots that are available.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's hear it. Let's back it up a little.
40-year relationship I have with Steve. He'll never have that. And so it bothers him. And he's tried to get rid of me, and he can't do that. You know what I mean? So back then, yeah, it would have been nice. But no, he did obviously monetize it for himself, but he has never done anything to help me, benefit me in any way. Everybody else benefited financially. He goes out of his way to hurt me financially whenever possible. It's very bizarre. I don't know why. Skylar, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
No, that's where it ended. He goes into other bullshit.
Gotcha.
But I mean, that's interesting, right? He basically said it. He goes out of his way to fuck him financially at any chance he gets.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, again, that's kind of what Blotzer was saying all along. This dude's not, he kept calling him a snake in the grass.
Right.
He's not flying straight.
Right.
I mean, these are Blotzer's terms for fucking the dude's a shyster, and he's not,
Right.
Legitimate in his interest in being a true manager for the band and doing what's best for the artist. He's in it for himself. And I think for right now, Sepp is going to tolerate that because it's easy and convenient, and as long as it benefits Sepp too, cool. But I also can say this, I believe about Sepp, is that, again, if the check came in this much larger tomorrow to have Blotzer back on drums, I think Greenbaum will be on the street. There'll be a new road manager, and Blotzer's back on the drums. So it's just a matter of how much dough are they willing to fork out for that to happen.
Right.
And
they're
so,
running out of time,
yeah,
too.
it's pretty much. Yeah, I mean, they don't. I mean, and I just always I watch. Okay, I've said this all along. I watched the Green Bombs show for one reason, because originally there was very few guys who were showing me some behind the scenes of
Mm-hmm.
cities and places I haven't been. There's some places they go to and play the whiskey. I've already been there, played
Mm-hmm.
there. Know the dress, know the plays. No, I don't need to see that. But they go to some other cities I never played before. I've never seen. So it's always, in my opinion, he thinks that's the most boring part of his show.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm watching. It ain't because of you,
Right.
Green. I'm watching to see what you guys are doing. Where are you at? Where are you playing? What's the venue? What's
Right.
the hotel? What's the travel itinerary looking like? And what's the as we all know for being in bands, what are the issues you overcome to get there and get
Mm-hmm.
on stage to be on time to do what you're doing? He thinks that's boring because that's Green. Green wants to make it about himself, and it's not about you, Green. It's about Sepp. It's about being
Yeah.
with Piercy. It's about being with this guy who's, in my opinion, if he's not an A-list rock and roll star, he's definitely a B-list rock and roll star, and a very strong one. He's got,
Mm-hmm.
if for 80s rockers, he is an A-list in my opinion. I think he's right there with Vince and these guys who started this in the early 80s, started this shit. Even Don Dokken, they were there before a lot of the bands that came later. And so Piercy is OG as it gets, and that's what I'm watching it for. It's not you, Green. So when he started doing some of the other shows now where he's always with Wednesday 13,
Oh yeah.
all these interviews with people, I'm that's the ones I'm not watching. I'm
Yeah.
bypassing those and
That's
saying,
awful.
let me see the,
Fucking
and actually,
Wednesday.
and I can see how he thinks that it's redundant in some cases, but that's because what you're doing with Sepp is kind of redundant. You're going around to the same kind of casinos and events and gigs every year, but I don't know. I enjoy seeing some of the hijinks of what goes on with them. Sometimes I was kind of like, I wish he would talk to Eric more and do more with the
Mm-hmm.
band. What's the, how's the sound check going? What the hell's happening here? What, you know, but for someone like me who's never been on the cruise, his videos on the cruises were very educational because I got to actually see what's actually going on this fucking thing. Is it worthy of my time ever to invest and go on one of these things and see bands or not? Do I want to do that? So, but Green, in my opinion, though, is the vibe I get is sleazy, hanger on. There's these guys. Okay, I'm just gonna say there's guys in this industry. There's guys who can play an instrument, who can contribute, who are musicians or former musicians and now helping you manage because they know how to play guitar and they used to be in a band themselves. And then there's these guys. Green. What instrument can Green play? He says he can play bass, but he says he plays like Ramon
Yeah.
style bass, which means you're not playing bass. I mean,
Right.
anyone could do D.D. Ramon. He played two
Right.
notes, bro.
Or Sid
So
Vicious bass, right? I mean,
yeah, I mean, he's a horrible. Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
what I'm saying is like he has nothing to contribute that way. So
Mm-hmm.
there's these guys that come in and they don't really have any musical experience. They can't play an instrument. They were never in a band, but somehow they want to come in and show you how to manage you and do this. And I always look at those guys and go, you just want my money, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You just want to find a way to wedge your way in here and get a percentage of something that you have nothing to do with. Because you can't play an instrument, you can't write a song, you can't fucking book a gig, you can't. In my case, in my band, we already got the gigs. I don't need you. Like, every time I had a manager come up and speak to us, I'm like, what gigs can you get me that I'm not getting?
Mm-hmm.
And they can never out gig me. So I'd be like, why am I talking to you? So, and that's because I came in the late 90s when shit was falling apart. No one was going to go take a band and invest all this shit into a thing because there's no contracts to be had anymore. It was play a fucking gig,
Right.
get paid on your own, the best. So what I'm saying is Green is like a lot of those guys. There's these LA, I felt I met quite a few there hanger on kind of guys. And when you actually scope into what their actual musical knowledge is, they're just guys who went to the record, which is fine, but that doesn't mean you know how to be in a band. You don't know how a band would function. You don't know how to write a song or what we have to go through to create the music you're hearing. You just, and I'm not saying maybe a Doc McGee, maybe he never had none. Maybe that's why these guys think that, but I will say to those guys, remember all the rumors early in Doc's career? What was he doing? He wasn't making money being manager at Motley Crue. He was making money selling cocaine and weed.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of these guys. When you really look at them, that's what they're hustlers, dude.
Yeah,
They're a hustler.
hustlers.
And that's not bad. There's some areas of the industry where you got to have a hustler. I'm just saying, does Sepp absolutely need Greenbaum to be playing his same shows at the casinos next year? The reason why Greenbaum's there, so him and Christie don't got to book Johnny's airfare or Warren's airfare or Carlos's airfare or their hotels or figure out who's driving the transport van from the venue to the hotel. Sepp and Christie don't want to deal with that. Here you go, Greenbaum. Figure that fucking mundane shit out because it doesn't require anything. It just requires someone who would actually sit there and make the call or send the email or book the shit online.
Right.
So
Yep.
Green, you're kind of overinflated yourself. And I'm going to tell you, you used to make this joke on the CMS. You'd say, when Warren D walks in the room, we're all losing our fucking jobs. And I'm going to
Right.
say this to you. When Bobby Blotzer finally walks back
no
in the
shit.
room, you're going to lose your fucking job, Greenbaum.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
it may not be today or tomorrow, but I believe in my heart, before this is all over, you will see Bobby Blatzer on a stage with Warren DeMartini and Stephen Pearcy, because that's who made the fucking albums we care about. And that's what people are eventually going to chop up some dough to see.
Right.
And all this other shit they're doing in the meantime is just buying time and making some side bucks. And, you know, Blatzer's probably got his feet up by the pool right now with a beer in his hand. So.
And it's going to happen. I mean, yeah, it's going to happen. They're running out of time.
And again, there will eventually be a Danny Wimmer guy goes, hey, I want Rat to headline Rock on the whatever fucking range, and I'll give you $175,000 for a one night performance. They're gonna go, well, fuck, we were only making 50 without Blotz. Get this fucking guy on the drums. That's $100,000 difference.
And all it may take is Rocklahoma, which then at that point maybe Andrew can get there and do shoot some footage and whatnot. Yeah.
I'm surprised it really didn't happen going into this year, because to me, it sounds like Nikki and them were trying to figure out how to get those guys back together for their tour.
Yeah.
And I have no doubt, because it's happened in the past, as we all know, that if Poison was to get their shit together for a 30 or 40 day run, they probably wouldn't mind having Rat as the fucking band right before them. So there's probably a couple opportunities there, but it just shows you, I think, how fucked it is. And I'm going to say it's not even, I have no doubt it's not Blotz. It's Juan. Juan is the gum in the fucking works for both Warren, Sepp, and Blotz to figure this shit out. He's the one who's causing the problems for all of them. Now that he has the partial ownership of the name or whatever, it's a fucking mess. And that's probably the number that they can't come up with, Ruben, to pay is the number that Juan wants to fucking stay home. And he's probably going, I want 80%. Yeah. I'm playing bass or you're not having it. So, and as we know, what did Blotz always say? Once you let Juan back into it, it's going to fuck it all up. And that happened. It happened. Yeah. You can say a lot about Bobby, but he kind of had a crystal ball about the way this was going to go down, and it pretty much went down like Blotzer said it was going to go down. So he is a grade A asshole sometimes, the way he talks to people, but he's not a liar. There's just some things there that he's just telling you the truth, and he just says it in such a rude fucking dickhead way that most people are like, oh, he's an asshole. But if you really think about it, he's not lying. Juan poisoned that well pretty quick, dude. It went like... It did. I mean, he really did. Because when Robbie says in his interview, he says he basically came out of Infestation, did some shows, and then said, hey, I'm handing it off. It's Juan's gig, and he's coming back. And I've already arranged it. And it wasn't Warren or Sepp that called Juan. It was Robbie and said, come get your gig back, dude. I'm going to tell these motherfuckers you're taking over on bass. And that's how he came back on bass. But it was only, a couple of years, and it was right back down to Steven and Juan, no Warren, no Blotz, kids on guitar that don't even belong there. I mean, I'm not knocking those guys either, but I don't think what was their names? Two kids that were on guitar.
Right.
Can't even think of what
the only one you knew was the drummer, Pete Holmes.
Yeah. Yeah, because he was in Black and Blue. We all knew him from Black and Blue. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and you know, so... but yeah, Greenbaum, your days are numbered, bro. I'm sorry, because there is eventually going to come a time where some Japanese promoter or Australia, someone somewhere is going to say, I want Bobby Blotzer.
Or can you imagine some corporate guy that just wants them to reunite for a gig at some event that he's holding or something? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and there's so much money involved in that right now that people don't even understand, and it kind of went off the light bulb in my head because I've heard this before, and I've done a couple of things similar than that, but not on the level that some of these other guys are doing. Matt Sorum makes a shit ton of money just doing corporate shit with those all-star band jams, dude, left and right. And you don't even know that he's out doing that Saturday night in Palm Springs or Malibu or wherever, San Diego. And the money that's being made there, he doesn't need to go play. He doesn't need to wait for Axel's call. He's doing just fine on his own with the way he's doing it. So I'm just saying the corporate thing, the rich guys out there that will I want to relive my youth and my business is going to have a party. So I'm paying for that band to come in here and play to these 150 or 200 people. I got it at a fucking convention center or a hotel ballroom or wherever the fuck these things go down at. So,
Mm-hmm.
very lucrative
Yeah.
if you can get into it. But you know, um, I still think in this day and age for these older guys, there's going to come a time where someone's going to say, "Yeah, I get
Yeah.
it, but I want to see as many OGs on stage as possible before you all die, and I'm rich enough to make it happen. What's your price?" And Sep's going to look at
Right.
Warren and go, "Fuck, this guy's going to give us an open-ended check here to name the
Mm-hmm.
price to get it." Sorry, Juan.
Yeah.
But if you
Right.
can't, or Juan, we will pay the amount you want for you to
Right.
fucking stay home. And
Right.
Blotzer's on drums, and we're gonna do this gig, and that's what's gonna
Yeah.
happen. And for Chris and Wendell to act like that'll never happen, it'll never happen with this band and that band.
They don't
Well,
know.
that you all say that until one of these guys goes through another divorce and half his money's gone, and his house is in decline and needs the payment made. You know, these things happen, and they go, okay, well, how can I make money like that quickest? Oh, go back to playing with the guy I fucking hate. Okay, all right, I need to check. So, and I'm not saying that's going to happen, but we know Blotzer's been through a wife or two and has had some divorces, and I'm sure that cost him some dough. We know that Stephen Piercy has had to pay the ex-wife, and
Mm-hmm.
so it happened to these guys. They lose their fucking dough through various means. They don't always live the way we do. They're not, you know, pension pennies. Sometimes they're
Right.
just blowing cash. I mean,
Right.
so. Matter of fact, before we end this, that's another thing that Robbie Crane brought up. Apparently, Vince back in those days was very generous, just because he
Mm-hmm.
roped Robbie into the band. He's like, "Here's a check," and Robbie's like, "Oh, okay. Oh, he gave me $5,000." Well, you know, in 1992 or
Mm-hmm.
three, that seemed like a lot of money. So Robbie goes down to the bank to put it in there, and the guy goes,
Right.
"Well, where do you want me to put this money?" And Robbie goes, "Well, you could put 2,500 in the savings and 2,500 in the checking." And the guy goes, "You mean like 2,500 over here and like 47,500 over
Yeah.
there?" And he goes, 47,000. And he
Yeah.
goes, "Yeah, this is a $50,000 check." And he
Yeah.
goes, "What? Oh, Vince must have made an error. He wasn't supposed to give me $50,000. He was
Right.
only going to give me like $5,000." So he calls Vince, and Vince is like, "What are you going to do with $5,000, Dumpsky? I gave you 50K. You're joining my
Right.
band. Get your shit together. You're going on tour." But it
Right.
just shows you Vince was just, because I mean, what he had
Mhm.
5 guys in the band, right? So
Yeah.
that's probably 250 grand
Mhm.
or 200 grand. He just handed to the band members just to get them in the band and get this thing rehearsing. And I got shit to do. So, yeah, these guys, when they live like that, they throw the money around really haphazardly. And then 10
Mhm.
years later, when the money's not like that, they're like,
Right.
fuck, what did I do with all that money?
Right.
So,
There you go.
yeah. So it pays to be in Robbie Crane world, because he got quite a lot of dough for just thumping the bass for Vince when Vince said to play bass. So, and we all know that some of those songs were probably not too complicated. It was Nikki
Oh,
Sixx
yeah.
songs.
Right.
he was at it. Yeah, he had a pretty easy gig.
Right.
All right, y'all. Well, there you go. Rock and Roll Tales for you. Go check it out. I'd like to get Robbie Crane on here sometime, just because I would ask more in-depth questions about the Vertex and the Rat and the this and the that.
Yeah.
His impression of Blotzer and Sepp is pretty spot on, and he does a hell of a Vince Neil impression too. Every time he did Vince's voice, it sounded like Vince Neil.
Nice.
So, and by the way, so I guess in this thing, I didn't know I knew he had a fight with Vince, but he also had a fight with Vic Fox, the drummer guy.
Yeah, the drummer. Yeah. Who
Yeah, I
was
guess
in
the guy
Enough's
stole
Enough.
all the gear. Yeah, he
Yeah.
stole all the gear and sold it or some shit.
Yeah, he
to
pulled
stick
a
it back
Mark
to Vince.
Torine and started selling the band's gear. Fucking dick.
Mick, Jimmy, you guys watch your drums and your amps. If
Well,
things start getting
well,
dicey.
Well, it's funny you said Mick. We'll end with that, because remember those photos I shared with you guys about
Oh yes,
my trip to the record shop, and we have
Yeah,
look at
so-
this. We have the Bullet Boys
So-
artwork on a David Newman album titled Mr. Fathead.
yeah. And this came out 10 years or so before.
76, 77, something like that.
Yeah, 12 years or something before
Yeah.
Bullet Boys album came out.
And then
So
it's funny because he had the album, the vinyl for sale.
vinyl.
And
yeah.
then I knew he had a used copy, because he goes, "Hey, don't you like these guys?" And I go, "I already have it." And he had the CD.
It's the Bullet Boys.
So it's the same
So we
fucking
were
record
trying,
cover.
yeah, we were trying to put our heads together, and me and Andrew, I think, came up with the answer. And the answer is that
Yeah.
this is all on Capitol Records.
Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers. Yeah.
Warner Brothers was yeah. So Warner Brothers was just being cheap asses and recycling art, ladies and gentlemen. They didn't even want to give the Bullet Boys an original photo or original
Right.
artwork and pay someone to fucking do some real shit. They just regurgitated some shit that didn't. Because this fathead guy, when we looked him up, he's a jazz guy or something.
Yeah, he's
right?
a jazz guy. Yep.
Yeah, so it's not even rock music. So
no, because this album was in the jazz section, and it just I was like, wait a minute, he's got this weird Bullet Boy. I'm like, holy shit, it's not the Bullet Boys. It's
which goes to show you that's like, even that to me is funny, because I'm like putting in my mind like, okay, go back to 1988, how much money this record company has, and they're not willing to commission a guy for a couple of grand to make
right.
they're that cheap. Fuck it, recycle something, Bob. We're not paying one penny on these guys. Yeah, that's crazy. But that just shows you the Bullet Boys, they probably had no say in it. It was just the record companies like, we're doing this, that's what you get, here's what you go. So we'll see how long they last, but keep an eye on your gear, Mick and Jimmy, because sometimes some people have lost a few amplifiers around that front band of yours. And we were watching some videos recently, and the stage moves get weirder and weirder. I'm sorry. He always did some weird, but it's like getting to where it's like, I'm like, what is it? What is this on the stage? What is he doing? Like, I don't. It's like it almost like he went to David Lee Roth and said, "Can I have some lessons? Can you show me how to shabop and do some moves and get some vaudeville stuff going on?" And that's what it looks like he's doing all the time. It's like, it's cringy, man, cringy.
Yeah, right.
Mark, just stand there and fucking sing or walk around.
Right.
No more jazz hands. No more twinkle toes and shaking the shoes.
Yeah, it's weird.
Weird, dude. All right, hang in there. I'm going to say real quick before we go, ladies and gentlemen, this is the month where they're going to announce, because my little old mountain town only gets one rock band every year, and this is the month where they're going to announce who the rock band's going to be, and it's always on this kind of rotation of certain level of acts, And so I'm telling you, we're due for either a
Don Dokken
or a Don Dokken. I was telling you guys, I'm hoping I'll take Lynch Mob over current Dokken, ladies and gentlemen.
Dude, if it's Dokken, I'm driving down there.
I wouldn't want. Stop it. I wouldn't. The cats are fighting again. I wouldn't have to. I would only go in hopes that Wendell.
Exactly. I mean, why not?
There would be no reason to actually go watch Don Dokken, ladies and gentlemen. As I was joking in the chat, I would take Graham Bonnet and his vocal track band over Dokken. I would take. There's a lot of. I'd probably go to Bullet Boys over Don Dokken.
Oh
right now,
absolutely.
So there you go. That's telling you. So I'm hoping they change it up, but it does seem, if I looked at the way it is, it's been a couple. Kitty cat, you got to move out of the way. In the way here. It's been a few years since Dawkins been here. I think it's been 5 years. So they're probably about.
So it could be them.
Cycle. Yeah,
it really could. Can you imagine if it is Neely that is tour managing that weekend?
I'm wondering, would I get Crenshaw or Neely? Yeah. That's my question. Yeah. And would Neely look at it and go, Oregon? Well, I don't know, Don. There might be some guys in Oregon. I don't know. I'll see a Wrap Up Show shirt in the crowd.
He goes, you're going to have to use your Northwest representative for that.
Call Crenshaw. Call Crenshaw. Make sure he got it. He can handle it. He can handle that evil guy better, I think.
You better get Ira Black, too.
So I think it's usually like right at the middle or end of January they release it. So I'll let you guys know as soon as I find out. But I mean, the last couple of years, it was Queensryche last year, Firehouse before that, it was Sebastian Bach before that, and it was Piercy before that, and Don was before that. So they're about ready to come back around, because this year, last year was the second time Queensryche's done that. They did that about 5 or 6 years ago. So I think this is the same agency. I think all these artists
is funny, the rotation, like you're saying. Bach's going to be at the Chinook Winds on the 17th, and then now Queensryche is going to be there in March, I think. And usually they do the Illinois casino, so now they're doing this other casino instead of the Ridgefield. I mean, there is this kind of rotation happening.
They move around a little bit. And actually that might be, I don't, because we were talking about Testament. My problem with Testament is I got to go to Poop City and deal with all the fucking nonsense in that goddamn shitty town just to try to get to there to my show. So at least Lincoln City on the coast, it's pretty, no
Sure.
riffraff,
Yeah.
casino, Queensryche. Now, I just saw them, but I'd go see them again because that's how much Todd blew me away and
Right.
how good they sounded. But yeah, I am wondering, are they going to give me Don Dokken this year?
Yeah. It could be. That would be
Yeah,
interesting. I
he
want to
might.
hear this.
So yes, so we'll keep you posted on who's coming to town, and we'll see this year. I'm definitely going to make an effort to get a couple more shows under my belt, and hopefully at least one of those will be with Ruben. There's a couple other
Yeah.
things. What was something else? Someone showed me
Uh,
something. Was there something in Eugene?
in Eugene. Yeah, there was something in Eugene. I
I
forget
don't
what that one
remember what it
was.
But
Yeah.
anyways, there's some
Yeah,
shows coming to
there's a
our area.
number
We're
of
gonna have to
them coming
dissect
in.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll be in the springtime. I know.
Mhm.
I think the only thing coming up here is here in the next month or whatever is going to be Ghost, but that's at the Modus. I don't know that I'm up
Motive.
for going to see a Kerndorf 6,500 seat configuration of an arena show for a band that I'm not really all that invested in anymore. You know.
Like I said, man, there's 2 or 3 songs I kind of do like by them, and I've gone to back to and put them on the playlist. But
Mm-hmm.
other than that, there's some of their albums I try to. Some guys, my buddies, like, you love this album, and I dove into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, there's like 2 songs I would go back to, and
Right.
the rest I just don't really care for. And
Yeah, and that's what it's
so
been with the last 2 records for me. It's like there's 1 or 2 songs, and then it's like, oof. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna go to that. I'd rather wait and hit some other stuff.
I'm kind of interested to see if Metal Church is going to take
Yeah.
They're saying they're going to do dates. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
will they actually have some Pacific Northwest
Right.
dates that we can get
Yeah.
to? Because if he's got Junior and then that new guy singing, I
Sure.
would probably go check that out for sure. And that would
Right.
be another thing is the venues. I'm not into the arenas. I'm not really into even the sheds. It's kind of 50-50 for me. I prefer a theater or a club or
Right.
something a little
And
smaller.
that's the
and
other
up
one. There's
close.
going to be the Motley Tesla. Who else? Extreme.
Extreme
Yeah,
is
yeah.
opening that
That'll
one.
be
Yep.
good. I mean, I was saying to my buddy that was a photographer, Mike. I'll be like, yeah, we'll go with that, and
Mhm.
I'll leave 2 songs into the Motley set, and it'll be an early night for me. Fuck them. But
Yeah,
definitely
well,
see Extreme. I mean, they always
yeah,
put on a good show,
Extreme's
and
quality.
Tesla's still
Tesla's
pretty
quality.
good. 5 songs in, and then the wear and
Yeah.
tear starts kind of being more
They're
apparent
only
with
going to
Jeff.
give him 8 to 10 songs
Yeah.
anyways, and they'll be on
Right.
stage.
So
Yeah, so it's actually honestly, and Tesla's, in my opinion, that's probably a better business model for them. Be the middle
Mhm.
band. You only got to play for 45 minutes to an hour, and you're out. And that's about what Jeff should be able to do. And anything more, you're probably taxing it. And you
Right.
know, the top of the Tesla hits, it's about 45 minutes or an hour, and then you're
Right.
out because everything else they're going to go into after that's album cuts or something. So
Sure.
you know, and for them, if it pays the same as doing the hour and a half gig, I would be like, hey, give me that 15 minutes with crew in a bigger
Mhm.
venue. Thanks. So,
Right.
but you know, who knows? Because crew has all the drama backstage, and the Tommy can't see Vince, and Vince can't see Tommy, and John
Mhm.
Five's jerking them all off and slobbering
Yeah.
on Nikki's fucking balls, and
Yeah.
T-Bone's got to
Tua.
get his wig straight because the wig's not
Yeah.
right. And,
Yeah. It shows that bald spot, and
Oh.
John Five's like hot tour.
And if you guys haven't been paying attention, apparently Brittany Furlan is harassing Ronnie Radke even more. So now Ronnie Radke's gotten to the point where he's just going to get a lawyer and sue everybody to make everything go public, just to prove the fact that he was never the guy in the first place, was ever trying to text her in the first place. She doesn't seem to understand that. And I actually believe him because the way that he was the last thing I saw, he was so forceful with, dude, I want it all released, all dropped, because it will just prove to Tommy and her that this is a fucking catfish account from the start.
Mhm.
And that chick is psycho. I believe it. I'm just telling you right now. I think Furlan is a fucking nut job, and Tommy's got his hands full. And this fucking chick thought she was actually gonna jump off the old guy and get on the young rocker,
Yeah.
and it was never the young rocker at all. And he was like, "Who the fuck are you, and why are you here?" And that set her off because she thinks
Right.
she's all that. If you watch her
Mhm.
social media, she
Yuck.
thinks she is the fucking bee's knees. And I
Right.
mean, so that kind of fucking mental derangement. And I'm sorry, man. They're Hollywood chicks are fucking psycho. They're weird, man. The reason they might look like 10s, but mentally they're fucking zeros. So
Right.
yeah. Anyways, I keep an eye on that because I'm kind of
Yeah.
hoping it does happen because I would really like to see that it was some Indian guy in fucking on a burner account that was getting Britney all pissed off,
Yeah,
and this
right.
whole thing started up because some guy in Bangladesh or some shit
Yeah.
was fucking with her.
Oh,
He was probably trying to get a scammer for a $50 fucking or $500 help me out type of deal. But
right.
she's too
Oh.
stupid to fucking realize it though. So, anyways, keep an eye on that. If Radke actually can get the lawyer to drop that shit on the internet, that would be quite interesting
Right.
to watch the whole everybody go, oh, so because everybody keeps blaming him, and I don't know. I guess he could have been trying to, but I just don't really see a guy since I think he's even younger than she is.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really see with how popular his band is, and I'm not even liking his band. I'm just saying I know that they play some big shows.
Sure.
So he's not hurting for tail for chicks.
Right.
It's not Brittany Furlan is an old OB to him, old bitch to him. So he's got 21-year-old prime tens in the fucking front row willing to do whatever every night of his shows.
That don't use the Taylor filters.
And let's just be straight. I don't think I've heard him say this, but this is what entered my mind. I would have looked at the camera and said, why would I want to be with some chick who's been bored out by a 10-inch fucking 60-year-old fucking AIDS infested hypodermic using cocaine head? Why would I want that? I'll get a young chick who hasn't been railed by that kind of shit and is much cleaner and safer and doesn't have herpes. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think this is a psycho chick that's actually scorned by the fact that it's probably put a permanent wedge, even though she's back with Tommy, it probably has put a permanent wedge in their relationship because Tommy's constantly probably looking over her text now, wondering who this fucking bitch is trying to jump in bed with. And old Radke's over there going, I got psycho bitch in my fucking front gate. She's texting me up. She's calling me. She's DMing me. She's in my fucking comments. She's everywhere. So fuck, dude.
Oh.
Anyways, drama, ladies and gentlemen. Pay attention to it. If for nothing else, it's good for laughs. He's a very entertained individual. He makes everything funny, even when it's fucked up. So, anyways, that's where it stands. We're gonna get out of here. We've given you a shit ton of content this week, so we made up for our being MIA for a couple more days, and we'll see if the real CMS returns this weekend and what they got going on. And
I'm sure time's flown by.
Yeah, I don't have nothing going on this weekend other than watching some NFL playoffs. So
yeah,
let's see what Wendell and Aiken can bring if they can bring a strong game back to the show. But my guess is we're going to get a bunch of fucking, Ruben, time flies by so quickly, Ruben.
Yeah.
Or what, real quick before you go, you know what we're going to get? We're going to get race talk. We're going to get politics talk because of everything going on my TV screen right now. That's going to get the old Wendell Neely Trump train fired up, and he's going to start spouting off about it. So, all right, y'all. Be safe out there. Don't stand in front of cars. Don't accelerate at people when they're in front of your car. Let's all try to use some common sense and honk a horn and say, "Can you move out of the way? I want to leave." Or, "Sorry, but police officer, just don't shoot me." And less of the nonsense. We got a lot of nonsense going on right now. So until then, we are going to say the shirt you should have, if you don't get the classic metal wrap up show shirt, you should be getting the Taters United shirt like I got. I'll wear that next week so you guys can see that one. So as Mick Brown would say, Taters.
Raise your horn.